Everyone thinks they know this story. But what if the giant was never the real enemy? It's a tale we learn as children. A small boy with a sling, a huge warrior with a spear. The underdog wins. We put it on nursery room walls. We turn it into motivational posters, and in doing that, in making it small and safe and inspiring, we completely miss what is actually happening on that valley floor. Because this story is not primarily about courage. It's about something far more dangerous, something that should unsettle us. It's about what happens when one person decides that the living God is actually real and acts like it. The sun is beating down on the valley of Elah. Dust hangs in the air. Two armies sit facing each other across a narrow strip of ground. On one side, the Philistines, the dominant military power of the region. Disciplined, iron-armed, confident. On the other side, the army of Israel. Soldiers who have been listening to the same sound every single morning for 40 days. A voice, enormous, echoing up the valley walls like thunder rolling out of the earth itself. His name is Goliath of Gath. The text in 1 Samuel tells us he stands over 9 feet tall. His bronze armor weighs over 125 pounds. The iron tip of his spear alone weighs 15 pounds. He is not just a big man. He is, by every measurement available to the ancient world, a weapon of mass destruction wearing human skin. And every morning he walks out and shouts the same challenge across the valley. Send me your champion. One fight, winner takes all. And every morning, the army of Israel goes completely silent. The text says it plainly. All the Israelites, when they saw the man, fled from him and were much afraid. 1 Samuel 17:24. These are not cowards. These are soldiers, men who have fought battles before. But something about Goliath reaches past their training and grabs something primal. Fear has settled over that camp like a second skin. Into this scene walks a teenager. His name is David. He's the youngest of 8 sons. His job, up until this moment, has been watching sheep in the hills outside Bethlehem. He didn't come here for glory. His father Jesse sent him with bread and cheese for his older brothers. He's basically a delivery boy. He arrives at the camp, finds his brothers, starts talking, and then he hears it. The voice. And David's first reaction is not fear. It's something closer to confusion. He starts asking the men around him, "Wait, what exactly is the reward for killing this man?" And his oldest brother Eliab whips around and snaps at him. "Why did you come down here? Who's watching your sheep? I know your pride and your evil heart. You came to watch the battle." 1 Samuel 17:28. Eliab sees a little brother getting above himself. He sees arrogance. He sees someone who doesn't understand the situation. But here's what Eliab doesn't understand. David is operating from a completely different reality than everyone else in that valley. He has spent years alone in the hills, alone with the stars and the storms, alone with the sheep and the silence. And in that silence, something had been forged in David that the trained soldiers around him had somehow lost. A lived, tested, bone-deep conviction that God was not a concept, not a national symbol, not a religious formality. God was real. God was present. And this giant, this shouting, terrifying giant, was standing in front of the army of a real God, shouting into the face of heaven. David doesn't see a size problem. He sees a theology problem. St. Augustine wrote that our hearts are restless until they find their rest in God. David's heart had found that rest in the hills of Bethlehem. He wasn't fearless because he was brave. He was fearless because his center of gravity had already shifted. The thing everyone else feared most, Goliath, was simply not the biggest thing in David's world. King Saul hears about this teenager and calls him in. The conversation is almost comical. David essentially tells the king, "Don't worry, I've killed lions and bears for the sheep. I can handle this." And Saul, clearly uncertain, offers David his own royal armor. David puts it on, takes a few steps, takes it back off. It doesn't fit. It isn't his. He walks down to a stream, picks up 5 smooth stones, puts them in his shepherd's bag, and walks toward Goliath with a sling in his hand. When Goliath sees him coming, the giant is offended. He looks at this kid, this red-cheeked, bright-eyed shepherd boy, and he is furious. "Am I a dog that you come to me with sticks?" 1 Samuel 17:43. He curses David. He promises to feed his body to the birds. And David, and this is the moment, this is the hinge of the entire story. David opens his mouth and says something that should stop us cold. "You come to me with sword and spear, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, so that all the earth will know there is a God in Israel." 1 Samuel 17:45-46. He's not boasting about himself. He's making a declaration about God. The whole point, David says, is that the earth will know. This moment is not about David. It's a window cut into the side of history, and through it, the living God is about to make himself visible. David runs toward Goliath. Not walks, runs. He reaches into his bag. He loads the stone. He swings. The stone finds the only small gap in that armor, the space on the forehead not covered by helmet, and sinks in. Goliath crashes to the ground like a falling tower. C.S. Lewis once observed that courage is not just one virtue among others. It's the quality that makes all other virtues real under pressure. David had faith. But faith under that kind of pressure, running toward that giant, that's when we discover whether faith is real or merely comfortable. Here is where we have to slow down, because the Christian tradition does not let us read this story and stop with David. Origen of Alexandria, one of the great early theologians of the church, saw in David a pattern, a foreshadowing of something much greater. A king who was also a shepherd, who faced the enemy not with the armor of the world, but in a completely different kind of strength, who went into battle alone as a substitute for his people, whose victory became the victory of everyone who stood behind him. Sound familiar? Every detail is whispering. The shepherd king who was despised and overlooked. The battle fought by one man on behalf of many. The enemy brought down not by conventional weapons, but by something that looked weak. The victory that freed an entire people who could not free themselves. David is real. His story is real. And it also points, like a finger extended toward the horizon, toward Jesus of Nazareth, who also faced the ultimate enemy, who also went forward when everyone else fled, who also won a victory that became ours simply by being behind him. Grace always works this way. God doesn't wait for us to be strong enough. He sends someone to fight on our behalf, and then he invites us, trembling, inadequate, cheese-delivering, youngest of 8 us, to step into a victory already won. The question this story asks is not whether your giant is real. It probably is. The question is what you believe about the God standing behind you, because the giant is always shouting. Every morning, same time, same threats, same size. What changes, what has always changed, is whether you believe the voice from the valley is louder than the voice of the living God. There is a stone in your sling right now. An ordinary thing, a small thing, something you've been carrying that doesn't look like a weapon. The valley is waiting, and the God who showed up in Bethlehem, the shepherd field and the manger both, is the same God standing with you at the stream. Pick up the stone, run,